Last week, I watched this video from this channel called Psychology with Anna, who was reacting to this TikTok video about a young mother who was ranting about regretting having a kid after having romanticized the idea for so long. And frankly, I agreed with Anna's statement about how you shouldn't give out life advice to random people like that because everyone's experiences will be different. And she also said that you often regret the things you didn't do versus what you did do. And also that it was horrible to put that kind of video out there because years from now, your kid might discover it. I mean, if you thought it was, I mean, if you thought doing something embarrassing was, and then your kid's finding out is bad, this is even worse. And it got me thinking because I guess my stream of consciousness, my train of thought crossed streams with Aaron Clary's content. And it got me thinking about his try before you buy statements, how his advice on that. So, for those of you who haven't seen Aaron Clary's video, he says that as he constantly says to try things before you buy, if you will, whether that's living somewhere you're thinking of moving to before you actually commit to living there, renting a place, getting a job there, signing a lease, buying a place there. It also says to rent things like fancy sports cars for a while before you actually buy it, so you can see how you feel about it and then decide from there. So I left a comment on Psychology with Anna's video about how I wouldn't tell people whether to have kids or not to have kids. Instead, what I'd say is something similar to what Aaron Clary says about trying before you buy. So before you commit to having kids, so before you so if you're on the fence about whether you want to have kids or not, I think if you ignore the financial costs, the time commitment, to know whether you could commit your time to that, and to know whether you could do it being able to without being able to step away completely. You should really what I told said in the comment was that they should try raising a kid, not raising, but taking care of a kid. Like, say you have a niece or nephew, and your sibling who is the parent of that niece or nephew needs a needs a break or has something they need to do. Offer to babysit. Yeah, just be a babysitter for I'd say start with a few hours because you need to really know if you can put in that kind of time. And then if you're unable to put in if you find yourself struggling and you decide it's not something you'd want to do longer than that, you can just stop right there and accept that it's not something you're up for. And then if you feel like you can do it, keep escalating the amount of time you babysit And then once you know that you can do it for a long period of time, then go for it. Or rather, you'll have a more informed decision. Again, I'm not trying to tell people whether they should or shouldn't have kids, because in that video, Anna said that it was terrible to give out life advice like that because people's experiences are different and all that. So basically, my approach is to expose people to the realities, to understand the liabilities that I talked about in my video about why nobody's having kids, to test them to see how they would react to unexpected situations, which, from what I've observed, is a very big part of being a parent. So basically, if you are able to actually do what you need to do in an emergency situation, and of course you have the energy to keep up, you'll be able to find out best whether you'll be able to actually sustain taking care of your own kids if you try it out with again, niece or nephew, a friend's kid. Honestly, would be a good way to give parents who need to do something a break. So if you have a sibling who needs to run errands but doesn't want to have to bring the kid around, then offer to babysit. Not only will your sibling actually be able to get errands done, but you'll get the experience of taking care of a kid, and then you'll be able to make an informed decision. Again, not trying to go against what Anna said in Psychology with Anna's video, just putting out a solution that I think would make the most sense and would lead to a lot less situations like the video that she was reacting to, which takes me into my next point. Another good way to avoid that kind of situation is don't romanticize it. I mean, sure, there are definitely some very positive experiences you can have being a parent, but there are also a lot of negative experiences, a lot of worries and anxieties, especially with the state of the world or the perception of the state of the world. Because I saw another video about how we weren't meant to be able to take in so much about the world around us. But you get the idea. I can't think of any movies or shows that depict the harsh realities of being a parent that could be used to provide an understanding of what to expect, because that's really the thing. You don't know what to expect. You can't account for everything. I'm the kind of guy who likes to plan for everything, and it's been a little detrimental, but it's a useful thing to be able to do. As in, I have backup plans for everything. I even have emergency protocols written down for if something happens to me. But I digress. Anyway, to sum up, try before you commit is what I would say to do. It just makes the most sense, in my opinion. This way, hey, I'm not saying whether you should or shouldn't. I'm not saying whether you should have kids or shouldn't have kids. You should just see if you can handle doing it, gradually increase the amount of time you spend doing it, and then if you decide you can commit yourself to doing this, then go for it. And if you decide that that's not for you, very respectable, and now you've made an informed decision. And if you do decide to go for it, you know the reality is, you know what to expect. You know that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows 24/7. So I'm going to leave it here for the video. Comment what you think about this solution that I have, whether you agree with it or not. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Give this video a like, subscribe for daily videos, and I will see you soon.